in common between the two, then only you can join. Randomly you cannot join any of the two tables. Okay, it's not possible. So to join the two tables, the first and the foremost condition should be there should be some common column between the two of them. Then only you can join the two tables. Now can you see over here, can anyone tell me that what is the common column between the two? Can we join product and product category? Name. Name is not the common column. See, this is actually the name of the product. Okay, the name which is given over here, though the name of the column is same, but okay, let me be then much more clear with the things. That not only the names of the column should be the same, but also the data in those columns should be the same. Okay, then only you can join two columns. Okay, not only the name of the two columns should be the same, because there could be some tables wherein the names of the columns are the same. Okay, suppose say like for student table, there would be a name column. For the faculty table also there would be a name column. This does not mean that they are the same, right? Yes, the product category ID is the common column between the two of them. Okay, which is acting as a primary key over here. It is actually being used over here also, and on this basis we can join these two tables. Okay. Okay, got it. So we can join these two tables, that is the product and the product category, on the basis of the product category ID. Now since it is the primary key of one table which is being used over here, so over here we would say that this column is acting as a foreign key. Correct, Samatha? Yes, Tasmin, right. Okay, so this is now acting as a foreign key over here. So now what is join? If we talk in the definition format, that what is join? So it is the TSQL. TSQL is the what we can say is the advanced version, or the another form of SQL, that is transit SQL. Okay, so transit structure query language. Okay, so it is the TSQL clause that puts together the information of the two tables together in a single result set. We are going to combine the information of the two tables in a single table. Okay, and then how are we going to define it as? That would be a join. Now this is the syntax that we need to follow for a join. Now what is that syntax? As we were doing for the other, like for a single table also, if you want to extract out certain things, then we were using the select statement only. Okay, so the select clause, then after that we were giving the names of the columns that we want to extract out. Okay, after the names of the columns, we were giving that from which table we want to extract it out. Okay, so from, then the table name was there. But over here, since there are two tables which are present, so we need to decide that what table should come first and what should come after, and in between these two tables, what should be the type of join on which you should combine the two tables. Okay, and then on which condition are you combining? See, as in over here we are combining on the product category ID, so this is the condition. Okay, so on the condition. Okay, I'll tell you how to write down all these things. So this is a generalized syntax in which you need to write down a join query. Okay, so over here there is one more table given. Okay, that table name is the customer, wherein there are certain columns present in this customer table. There is one more table. Okay, now take this one. Okay. Yes. So there is a customer table which is having all these columns. Then there is an address table which is having these columns. Now tell me, can you combine the customer table to the address table? No. The reason? Because it is not having any common column. These two are not having any common columns. Okay. Now if I take one more table, that is the customer address. Okay. Now it is having the customer ID also and the address ID also. Okay. So this table can be combined or can be joined to both of them, to the customer also and to the address also. And then if you want to flow the data or if you want to extract out the things, then you first, like suppose say for a particular customer, I need to find out the address. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to first combine these two tables, or I would say that I need to first join these two tables. Okay, then after joining these two tables, I should join the third table, which would be the result of these two tables, to the address table. Okay, so in a join also I have to put, like after a join there is inner join also which is done. Okay, so you can say a complex join query. Okay, so while working in the IT industry, so in a join query you need to write one more join query in that. Okay, so there could be multiple join queries. Okay, so for that you need to first understand that how to write those join queries for two tables only. Then you can go ahead and write for 3 or 4 tables. And believe me, you have to do it. If you are into database testing, then you have to write complex queries which could be very, very, very long. Okay, so now these are certain like some types of joins that we need to understand. So one is the inner join, the other one is the outer join. Now in the outer join also there are some left and right joins. Okay, so it is named as left outer join or full outer join and the right outer join. So there are basically 4 types of joins. First is the inner, then is the left outer, then the right outer, then the full outer. When to use which type of join we will study about it. So no, not about this. Okay, we will try to write down the join query onto the tables, which are the sales order header table and the customer table. Okay, so the sales order header table, it is having all these fields. Okay, and the customer table, it is having these many fields. Now we can we join these two tables first? And on what condition can we join these? Correct. We can join these two tables on the condition of the customer ID. Okay. So first and the foremost thing that we need to understand for today is how to write down the join queries, and there are certain steps that we need to follow for that. Okay. So I would say that pay attention over here and keep your mind focused. Okay, otherwise you won't be able to write down the join queries, and as I told you that you will have to write down many of the join queries. Okay, and that too complex one also. Okay, so starting with the things, so there are some 3 steps in which you can write down a simple join query. Okay, so the first step, we need to write down that from which table we need to join which table. Since there would be 2 tables, if we are joining, this means that there are some 2 tables which are present, right? So the syntax wise, from and then the join. Now the table which are present over here are the customer and the sales order header. Okay, so for example, I need to join from the customer table. Okay, I have to join this customer table to the sales order header table. Okay. Now, since these table names are too big, so what I'll do is, even though they are big or they are small, since customer is a small name, but then also to keep the things safe and to avoid writing the things again and again, what we would do is we would put an alias name to the tables. Okay, it is like up till now we have, I told you that you can put an alias name to the columns, but we can put an alias name for the tables also. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do over here. I'm going to put the alias name for the customer as C and for the sales order header as S. Okay, and why I did so you will be able to understand in this step 2. So this was the first step, that we need to set the alias name for the tables. Okay, then after that we need to give the select statement. Select the column names. Okay. Now, what all things we want to select? Now, since there are two tables present, okay, so there are different columns in each of the table. Okay, and we want to select different columns from these two tables, and there could be a possibility like it was in the first thing that we have, the first example that we saw over there in the product and the product category. There were two columns with the same name, though the data were different. That was the name column, right? So how would I know if I write only the name? Okay, I want to select the name column, suppose say. Okay, then how would I come to know that from which table I want to select this name column? Okay, so for that I also need to give the name of the table also. Okay, so since we are not having any name over here, what I want is, see, from this customer column I want to select out the first name, the customer ID and the last name, these three things. Okay, and that too from the customer table. So what I'll do, I'll write over here as select C dot customer ID. This means that I want to select out the column customer ID from the customer table, which was C is actually standing for the customer. Okay, then after that comma C dot first name. This means I want to select out the first name column from the customer table, and C dot last name, that is the last name from the customer table. Okay, these all things from the customer table. Now from the sales order header table I need to select out the total due and the order date. Okay, so in this select statement only I would write that from the sales order header, that was, I want to select out the order date column. Okay, and the total due column. Okay, so these all columns I want to select. Okay, and that too from which table I want to select, I have given it as a prefix over there. Okay, so this is the reason we need to give the alias name, because if we are not giving the alias name, then we need to write that customer dot customer ID, then customer dot customer name, then customer dot last name, and then over here sales order header dot order date. So that would be too lengthy. Okay, so after selecting what all columns you want in your results, then the third step would be the last step, that is on keyword, that is on which condition are you joining the two tables, the customer and the sales order. So over here we have seen that we are joining these two tables on the customer ID. Okay, that is the customer ID column of the customer table, it should be equal to the it should be equal to the customer ID column of the sales header table, sales order header table. Okay, then only we are going to join these two, because as I told you that not only the names should be the same but also the data values should be the same. Okay. So now it would be on C dot, that was customer ID only, right? C dot customer ID, it is equal to S dot customer ID. Okay, so these are the simple 3 steps that we need to follow. But see, like I have given them in the step 1 you need to write from, join, and then you need to write the select statement. This does not mean that after from you should write the select statement. The syntax would be the same. Okay, that first you need to write the select. I have told you that which way would be easy to write down the things, because if we have first set the alias name, okay, then we would be able to select the column names onto that using that alias. Okay, so first would be the select, then would be the select, after that the names of the columns, then would be the from, then after that there would be two table name, okay, then join, then after that the on condition. That is what that was given over here, that you need to write the things. So there, okay, there was a syntax given somewhere over here. So the syntax, yes, there it is. So the syntax would be the same, but only the steps I have told you, that how you need to write down the steps. Okay. Okay, you want me to go back over here? See, now up till now we have only discussed like how we have to write down the query. Okay, but over here, while the query that we have written down, over here also we have not discussed anything about that what type of join. I told you that there are certain types of joins, that is outer, full outer, left outer, right outer, then the inner. Okay, so I have not described which type of join it is. Okay, first thing, and secondly I have not even told that which table would be coming to the right hand side of the join and which table should be coming to the left hand side, or does it even make any difference? Okay, because randomly we cannot put any of the tables anywhere, or if we are putting, is it changing the values which we are getting it as the output? Okay, so is it changing the results? So for those two things, I think we would need another half an hour session more. So we would, this is the last part, okay, for SQL. So we would continue with these two questions, that what are the type of joins and where should the tables be present, which table should be present on which side of the join, on the left or on the right. So we need to discuss about these two questions. No, this is not an inner join. This is what I'm saying, that we have actually not discussed that whether it is inner or outer or whatsoever. Okay, we have to discuss about all those things. But are you able to understand how we need to write down the steps? See, we will discuss about it, that what type of join you have to write over here and which table on the which side. But obviously the way of writing the query would be the same. So are you able to get that how we have to write the query? Yes? Okay, then that is good. Okay, so if you are able to get this thing, then we are good to go for today. And the two questions that I told you that we need to discuss, we would be discussing it in tomorrow's session. Okay? Okay then. See you everyone tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Good night.